I'm ready. Listen, I had my music going. I put myself in state. This is all things that we learn in neurocoding, everybody. And I'm ready. I'm ready today. Okay. So listen, I am the Gratitude Grandmaster. Let me share my screen. Boom. Hope you guys can see that. Okay.
Got it.
And so what I'm going to talk to you about today is the third ingredient, the third secret, which is gratitude, guys. And again, I am telling you, gratitude saved my life. Okay. It saved my life. This is the secret sauce that before I even knew what was going on, once I found gratitude, it saved my life. And it made me want to go deeper into this and to figure out why this worked for me so well. And neuroencoding has done that for me. Okay. But with that being said, just a little bit about me. Okay. So listen, I'm the person, yes, I was rock bottom. Okay. And I will tell you that I was rock bottom really emotionally for most of my life. Okay. Even when I was young, when I was 7 years old, I remember my mother coming home from school and my grandmother, I lived with my grandmother and my mom. And my grandmother, I remember seeing her in the stairwell, and I had never seen her this way. Her head was down. I could tell that she had been crying. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm looking at her. But as I looked at her, words really were not spoken. But when I looked in her eyes, I knew what had happened. The unimaginable for me as a little girl at 7 years old had happened. And I knew I would never see my mother again. My mother was sick really all of her life from the time she was 5 years old. She was a diabetic. And I used to be her little nurse. I would go to dialysis with her and things like that. And to see that look on my grandmother's face, I knew that she had passed away and I would never see her again. Well, at 7 years old, that really did shape my life. It shaped my life, guys. And I went on and was always good in school. I always wanted to look the part. I always wanted to be, I was always an ambitious type person, but there was always something that was missing, right? I would always say the words, woe is me. Why, God, have you done this to me? Why have you taken my mom from me? Why have you taken my dad from me? My folks were divorced when I was a kid, right? And I used to see my dad give my mom a black eye. Okay. So that's what I grew up in. And so these things continue to carry on with me in my teens, of course, my 20s, my 30s. I was even abused myself. I was married for a short time and I was abused. So these things kept playing in my head. Woe is me. I knew that there was something deep down inside of me that wanted to get out, that wanted to excel. And I tried everything that I knew to do. And I could not get rid of the voices in my head. I could not get rid of it. And so after many, 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 many years, I'm in a good 20, maybe even 30 years at this point, I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I had already, listen, I had my own home, job, making pretty good money. I tried to work on myself. You see me up here going to the gym, losing weight, because I was a overweight kid, and I thought, well, that's it. I'm single because I'm overweight, you know. But I tried to solve it that way. And then as I got into health, I wanted to share that with other people. I wrote books on that, on health, right? And I still had these voices in my head. So I got to the point back in 2018 where I was ready to just end it. I was ready to end it. I was tired. I wanted to change, and I didn't know how that change was going to happen. So if I had to say bye-bye to this world, and maybe I get a second chance to come back and have another situation, at that point, guys, I was willing to take that. But I overheard something. I overheard a video. It wasn't even a video on gratitude. It wasn't a video on anything. It was just 2 sentences that I happened to hear. And the lady said, if you're waking up in the morning and you're thinking about all your problems, why not just start writing down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for every day, that you're grateful for, right? And I was like, what? That's not going to work. Well, what is this? This is gratitude? Well, what is gratitude? I didn't understand it. And I certainly didn't think it was going to work. But I got guys to the point where, okay, if this is it, maybe this is a lifeline for me. Maybe I can just try this for a week, try it for 5 days and see. But if it doesn't work, that's it. I've already gone 30 years like this. What's 5 more days? Okay. So what is gratitude, right? Well, what is it? Gratitude is the act of acknowledging and appreciating the good things in your life, big and small. And I want to pay attention to the small, okay? The little things. Because remember, I'd wake up in the morning thinking about my problems. They were so big. I would, over years and years and years of thinking about them, I had encoded those problems in my head, okay? So for me to start thinking about something that was good, it was very difficult for me to do it. Very, very, very difficult for me to do that. I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. Let me go and get myself a journal. And I put the journal by my bed, guys, in the bed with me. I slept with the daggone journal. I said, well, guess what? Wasn't nobody else in the bed with me. Okay, y'all supposed to laugh at that point, okay? So I might as well put this journal because I don't want to forget, because I knew if it was on the other side of the room, I wasn't going to do it. But I made a date with myself and I said, I'm going to try this for 5 days and I'm going to do this. Point. Make a date with yourself. Make it important. So I would get up in the morning, I would lay up in bed